This is a video on biological natural farming for tropical fruit trees in Florida. And it seems like people don't understand exactly what it is. They say they understand and they know how to start their seeds and grow stuff, but when I look, I can see that none of them have really figured it out. And fortunately, I think I've figured it out completely in a way that people will understand. And it starts with, this is natural biological farming. So it starts with observation. It's the most important thing. And then you have to have a living root everywhere covering the soil. A lot of times people take and put wood chips over this living soil and snuff out all the greenery. I mean, they put the wood chips on deep. And I now realize that the reason why that doesn't work and why they have to irrigate, why everyone insisted you had to irrigate to me and told me I didn't know what I was doing, we're all people that use wood chips. Wood chips do not allow the transport of water into the soil. Water does not flow through a deep layer of wood chips, which is what you want. It turns out that you want something that's been already broken down and to apply on your soil mostly. So if you leave the roots, the reason why Biodynamic 500 works is because BD 500, the manure, corn manure, is completely reduced in the oxygen-free environment that it was made in. So it's just a reduced carbon that when it travels down a blade of grass and it hits the soil, hopefully it has a electrical reaction, and the reduced carbon molecule will awaken and bond with your sand mineral and other stuff in the soil to form soil aggregates. And that's the reason why BD 500 works. You could probably get the same results without putting it in the horn if you just buried cow manure under the ground and for 6 months and then sprayed it. It's like a speed up, it's a sped up fermented compost. So water flows through everything in the orchard floor. So that's like there's humidity in the air that gets caught on the leaves of the plants, and the plants pump water up to the top of the soil horizon if it flows correctly. And that's the whole reason why biological systems you don't have to water, and it's exactly why you don't have to water pots. If you have holes in the bottom of your plastic pots and you have a reduced carbon, I guess basically a soilless mix, it's humus basically. So peat or fermented cow manure or fermented compost, it's all the same. So if you have that and it touches the ground, that distributes the water evenly throughout the pot, just like it does on an orchard floor, like a natural native forest floor. It's humus. You need to build the humus layer. So the fermented compost allows water to transfer right through it. So if you have like open areas of dirt and stuff, or if you have an orchard floor, applying a large or a thick layer, like 2 inches or 1 inch on your orchard floor in the open areas, and then everywhere else and then planting seeds in it will rejuvenate your system, because it's the reduced, they're all reduced. Everything you're applying is reduced. Then the reason why in a wild forest system that big logs, they sit above the soil surface. They're not chipped up and covering and killing everything. They create, even when a tree dies and all the branches fall off, the logs are not like blocking any moisture from getting down to the soil. They might catch some moisture because carbon does hold water, but all the stuff that drips off the logs is a reduced form of carbon, which is exactly what you need on the soil surface. The roots of the plants, all these weeds that everyone hates and doesn't like, they'd rather have wood chips, those are all reducing carbon into your soil. That's how you build soil aggregates. When you put the biology from like a high quality compost, like from the Johnson-Sioux system, it's ideal. You do not have to follow it exactly. You can modify it for your own use. I personally like to have my compost sitting on the ground. I've stopped putting plastic tubes in it. I do create a little bit of air. There's bulky materials in there, so it's a modified, but that's how you put the biology into your soil, all the bacteria and fungi and everything. And just buying a product, like for some reason everyone pushes products and that's what people want to get, like a product like potting soil and I don't know, a lot of the potting soil is just chopped up wood that isn't fermented, so it's not gonna be a good medium to plant seeds in, or it's not going to be good really to put on your soil unless you just scatter it. You don't want it completely snuffing out everything. Adding wood chips is excellent, but you just scatter them throughout the system and hopefully they land on top of the grass and that mimics the log sitting above the soil. That's the plan anyway. Anyway, we just move sticks around here. And I am just amazed that I finally figured out why wood chips don't work and why a living root is so important. It's about the quality of your input. That's always what it is. You are what you eat. You are what you feed your system. Your system is what you feed it, I guess. People get confused with biology, but then they plant. I know of a very well-known Jaboticaba nursery that plants in pure peat. I guess because you have to have a soilless mix to sell plants, and then adds chemical fertilizers. You don't have to in biology. All you have to do is add like a top dressing of a quality fermented compost, or a top dressing of like moringa powder. I'm not talking thick layers. I'm talking a half a teaspoon every 10 days. But it's just, should be so easy, and why it hasn't been shared and spread and discovered in Florida is, it's kind of shocking to me, because it's so easy here. And the reason why we don't have to water plants in pots is because we use a reduced potting soil and have holes in the bottom of our pots. The ground is wet because I do water some stuff there. So if it has those open bottom pots, if you put a reduced carbon in there and plant a seed in there, I think you should plant multiple species in the same pot. I'm fairly certain you should. But if you like to do one seed per pot, that could work if you have the biology in your system. The reason why you have to use water when you use wood chips and chemicals is wood chips don't allow water to flow through easily. So it's totally horrible for a living system. And then, unless you like live in the desert and have no other options. But in Florida, you have lots of options. Everything grows here in Florida, everything. And the water flows through if you have a living orchard floor. And the biology is there because the biology lives in the roots. You have to add it, like earthworm castings and just biological stuff. We don't need to pollute and kill and ruin our planet and make food that doesn't taste good and causes long-term health issues in us. Anyway, I do this because I knew how to grow, but for some reason, if you don't know how to grow, you don't know why this stuff grows, and you don't know how it grows, but you know how to do it. That's not enough being a farmer, because an organic farmer, because for some reason, you have to know exactly why it's better. And nobody knows, nobody shares, nobody gives information. So I just want people to get information and use it. And plus, and the reason why we got certified is because nobody respects you unless you have a degree or are certified. Well, some people do. But anyway, that's why we do that. People that say they're organic, it's usually because they don't know what organic is. They think just because they buy stuff that says organic on it and that's all they use, that they're organic. But it turns out to be biodynamic. You really have to know a little bit more about the biology and how it works and how to grow and your fruit trees. Anyway, this is Frog Valley Farm. I hope you got something out of this. Have a good day.